Hey guys, how you doing? Let's see if we got internet here. Alright, we got internet. Perfect. Okay. Oops. Gotta load that up. And I get my Twitch, so there we go. Let's see here. We're going to do a create a not rated 5-minute game. Casual. We'll do a 5-minute one. I shall just do that there. You probably try there. Oh, it's gonna try that. Okay. Just so it can't come here. That'd be a problem. There we go. Beautiful. Take it. Come on. Nice. That's what we want. All right. Yeah. I made a mistake there. We'll give it a new. We'll try it again. Kind of made a blunder. It's okay. It was casual. I wasn't able to. I did a kind of inaccurate thing. I should have pushed Harry. That's fine though. We get another shot here. A whole nother shot. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Move, baby, move. Alright. They're going to play the standard setup, the Mason attack. We'll just more than actually, we'll go on the London system, sorry. We don't want to push that until we get our London system set up. Bring it. There we go. Now we have a pin here, pin there. Let's see here. I'm just going to play there. Keep an eye on this. My next idea is potentially takes there maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with it. Kaboom. We'll do one more. Okay, and then we'll get on to that lesson. Yeah, we had a little bit of technical issues. If you're wondering why we were off on at like 11, we had a little bit of technical issues. The camera didn't want to work, so. But it's working now, so that's what matters. There we go. Kind of going for the Slav. He pushes. There we go. Now I got this moving, which is very vital. Castles. Now my queen, my king's safe. Okay, dokie. I'm gonna see if I can't get on my other pieces developed. Kaboom. Let's see if I can't jam a knight in here on, there we go. Do I want to take with pawn take, pawn on there, then he comes up, trades? Or do I want to take the rook? Let's grab the rook. See if I can't get in here this way. Boom. Kaboom. And we'll end on that. Sometimes you gotta take a risk to get a lot. Remember that. That's in life how it is. And it's better to serve the Lord with your talents. Trust me. Okay, D4, D5, and knight F3. Okay, we're trying to do. I like doing sometimes the London system in reverse with bishop F4 and then knight F3. It kind of gives you more of flexibility. We went over that. We went over why, because in some lines, if you do this too soon, you're not able to get knight BD2 in, and then remember the queen comes here and pawn pushes there, and then you're in deep trouble because of here. And you guys know all that, of course. Yeah, that's actually exactly what he's saying. This move here, so the author's backing me up with what I said right here is that sometimes I look at the notes to make sure that I'm on the right track. You should always do that because you never want to be on the wrong track. So knight F6, bishop F4. Now we're attacking. So we got it. C5 is played, and B takes C, which is kind of an interesting move in my opinion. It's not. It's a reverse. Hold on, let me make sure I got this. A reverse Queen's Gambit accepted, but it's not the F pawn. If there was, or King's Gambit, I think it's a mix. He was saying potentially though. Right here, you could play E3. This is an idea. F. C3, bishop. Remember, you got to be careful here. B3, C4, exclam. Remember, this is why the knight move without the excuse me. Ooh, little hiccup there. But this is why if you would have played the bishop first and left this knight, you would have had this one in between move. Rather, you would have had this before the queen came out, and you would have had knight bd2. But because we played it a little inaccurately, now you get in deep trouble. Or you could, if must be c3 is good, b6, queen b3, c6, e3, and again c4 is an exclamation mark. So it all came down. This move here first was not the best move. Grandmaster Simon Williams talks about that's why he prefers bishop to f4 after you play d4. Bishop f4 that's what he plays on his second move. Says it's very vital to do that, otherwise you'll get into this and then that, and you'll be in a big time problem. He played knight c6, which is also an interesting move, but not, in my opinion, not the best. The queen move would have been better. You also, in this line, have bishop to e6, e3, and then bishop takes, of course, because you're going to take it back. Bishop e2, castles, castles, and b6 to get your other bishop out. Fianchetto. c4 to break down this and maybe even trade queens off, and kind of the attack then will slightly be stunted. Knight c3 and knight bd7. And this is actually a game that was played, so this came from a game. So if you're wondering, did it actually come somewhere? Yes, it did come from somewhere. There is a queen e5 I've seen have been played before. c3, queen grabs the pawn, so now the queen's activated. e3, and now you have bishops. You're rock solid, and his bishop's out in the open. He can develop, but knight bd2 solves that problem. Then we potentially have knight b3, g4 is to pin the queen, bishop e, bishop e6, and cast. What? Am I missing something here? If he castles, doesn't he just grab that? Maybe we have here. Well, we don't have that anymore, do we? Oh, we could play here, and then if he grabs the pawn, we get our rook to the 7th. That might be the idea. This is also now under fire, and we can play a pin, which potentially could win the knight. I kind of now see why castle's okay. There's just, it's not worth the pawn on b2. I believe this somewhat reminds me of what Lenderman played against Fabi in the U.S. Championship. Very similar. So, kind of interesting to say the least. So e6 was played, and then queen b3. This is actually played e6 to let the bishop out in e3, and is a move up, but this is kind of like a Slav setup. A little bit of a move up though. So it's c3 exclam move. So we're hoping that you know, that a c5 move we can get b4 before he gets anything else rolling. So a5, this stops the b for right now. a5 does. Knight e2, or a3, not knight e2. And at this moment, knight b5 and our sweet move knight c7 is a huge threat. So they have to keep that on tap. So knight to c5, exclam. Now this does have a pretty good amount of a threat here. Bishop e6, I mean e3, because we don't want to retreat back and give up our dark squared Our dark square is very vital holding c5. So if we can hold our extra pawn, Black's going to have to strain to get this. He's going to have to go full bore and compromise a lot of his advantage just to get this pawn back. So e5, potentially playing there, but it's to open everything up. So now we have b5, and remember, potentially we have here. That's an interesting idea as well. So knight f5, f6. He has to retreat. Then we go bishop b5. Exclam. That move really puts pickle in Black's problem, because what would happen now is the knight's pinned, and we have h3 potentially, or a4. Exclam. a4 more likely is the best move. Or we could go h3. This is what they're saying. Potentially h3, then then a4. Exclam. Something like that. Knight e6 was played. Our bishop b6. Bishop takes actually is a slight inaccuracy mistake. I'd call it a mix, because it makes sense to take, but oops, not a mistake. Sorry, dubious. Dubious. I gotta remember that. I saw a question mark on my note, and I must not have put the exclam as well there. So bishop takes f, and if let's see, if g takes f, knight takes, and then if queen, if queen takes here, of course you guys see that we picked the queen up, so the queen can't take back because it's going to end up getting picked off. So queen to b6, knight c7, exclam, boom. Remember, kaboom is when we get a huge move, but this is boom. Queen takes, b3. It's not b3, sorry. Let's see, what was that? Oh, queen takes e5, or c5. And then b6 to attack the other queen, and queen a3. And Black doesn't have enough for the loss of his pawn. His structure's wrecked, and he's going down. I was looking at what would happen if queen takes. I believe the reason they didn't take was because that hangs this pawn here. If the queen took here, the d pawn would fall, which then would threaten c5, and would be, and also maybe, actually, my bad, even worse. Don't just take. Don't settle for a pawn when you can get the rook, right? And you got the rook. So this is better. You also have, if you don't want that, but you kind of want to keep a stable formation, you could do that too. But I think this is best, in my opinion. I'd give this an exclam, and I would give the queen takes a double question mark. That's just my opinion. I think that was a blunder, because you just hung a whole rook. So I wouldn't do that. So e4, that's an exclam move, because now you're threatening if he takes. You then can take here, and then king's gonna have to take, and it's right into a pin. So e4, hitting hard in the center. So knight rook c8 is helping the knight. So if you, like what we talked about, if d takes c4, knight d2, interesting, knight d2, bishop takes the pawn, bishop takes knight, And remember, this is always, he can't take with the queen because this is hanging here, remember? So the G pawn has to take, which wrecks black's structure. And then knight takes E. Now that's under attack, that's under attack, that's under attack, that's under attack. It's like, whoa. Now black regrets taking that pawn and be like, what did I just do? So knight takes, rook d8 to attack the queen, queen f3, and then queen takes c5. Do you see how the grandmasters they develop before they even take a piece? There was no reason to take right away, just develop a rook and attack the queen. So what did black accomplish? If you want to think about it, even though he's down a whole pawn and his structure's wrecked, he accomplished a rook dominating the d file. So you have to always take scope on that. Bang, we win a pawn, and then castles. And white can either immediately take a draw, like with repetition if he wants to, here, 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 and back. If you don't want to, if you need a draw to win the championship, and you know that your opponent is like really, really strong. So draw isn't a bad move, because you can then play here, something like that, and then it's a draw. So don't be afraid to get a draw, because it's not a loss. If you know that your opponent is slightly stronger than you and you can set up for a draw like this, go for it. I don't promote draws, but I'm just saying though, it's better to not lose, because it'd be horrible to have such a great position like this and then lose. Because black does have lots of compensation for his loss of pawn. The knight's under fire. There is some play still left, but I agree that a draw probably would be good here if the player was higher rated than you. But you should never go by rating, so not promoting that. Let's see here. So d takes, bishop takes, takes. Of course, remember. Now that's a problem. I think the queen, she does take. Let me see if you take here. Oh, the bishop hangs at that point. Gotcha. So this would be a double question mark blunder. We'll just put that as a double question mark blunder. So d6, bishop takes, d6, takes the bishop, and bishop e, rook d1, because white wants to dominate. White wants to be the one to dominate the d file, and black obliges his decision, takes, castles. Now there's no queen on the board, but you have to figure this. White's still up a pawn. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4. Yep, one pawn. And we're getting close to an endgame where white can convert it to a win. So bishop c, which is attacking, and as well, maybe he can go a3 and then b4 and hold the pawn. You never know. Rook fd8 to challenge this rook here. So king e2, because if he takes, then the bishop will take. More pieces that come off the board, the better it is for for white. And if the rook, let's say that the rook took here, right? He did take, so we were right. Bishop takes, and then bishop takes this pawn. So black regained his pawn, but what shape is his king's protection in? Very low. So bishop c6, which gets a question because remember this. We're heading towards an endgame that's semi-closed, and so a knight's good in a closed endgame. Rook takes, and then knight h4 with infiltration. So I would give this an exclam. I really like that. We'll take a glance into White's advantage. The following is the f5 pawn, f5 square is going to end up becoming a nice place for the knight to outpost on, which is going to dominate these two squares, the g7 and e7, and then the rook potentially could backrank mate the king. So White's queenside pawn majority. White has a queenside pawn majority, which could potentially get a rolling. And Black's pawn majority is there's nothing. White's king is already centralized as well since we entered the middle game. I mean the opening into the middle game into the end game. So the king is basically 2 squares away from the center, and Black's king is 3 squares away. So White has a tempo on the king, and so White didn't have to worry about castling because his other rook now, his h rook could come out as well. So my opinion, White stands better here. King f8. There is rook d6. Potentially that I don't really like that move, but it is available because it allows the knight. Then the rook comes d8 because this move dominates the d file, and we don't want to trade off our rooks, otherwise potentially it could go more to Black's advantage, because the bishop loves when pawns are on 2 sides of the board. So we want to keep our pieces on the board if we can, so that the knight gets stronger, and with the help of the piece, of course. Okay, so a4. And king f8. And b4 keeps basically the pressure going. Yeah, b4 if need be. Because then you actually can bring the rook over to b1, and then go b4, and then you have a pretty sizable attack. So king f8, that's why I played king f8 rather than that, was so that you didn't want to have that. But the knight still comes in to f5, like the plan. Keep with your plan. Queen b6, I mean rook b6 to attack the d2 pawn, or b2 pawn. b3, guards. Now there's no targets at this moment. King e8, because he wants to come into the center. Rook d1. Why not take over the d file, right? If Black decided to relieve the pressure there, just go for it. So now c6 and rook d3, and we're 3 moves away from everything being on light squares, which benefits White. And by the way, this gets an exclam mark, so I believe it's a really strong move, and I like that move. And at any time, the rook could shift over to h3 and then get that h pawn. So he's guarding c3 and he's going after h7. So yeah, that's good. Really, really good. So the bishop hightails and gets out of there like yeah, it doesn't want the rook to get over here and start taking pawns galore. So it's going to try to neutralize any attack, maybe with h6, 6, but I really don't see. 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 I really e4, and then e4. E4 here is really a good move for black. It's defensively, but it holds slightly. So now this the center of fire, he potentially has rook, so king d7. c4 is dubious, but I can understand why you're wanting to try to win this pawn here. But he can always retreat his after c4, which not the I'm sorry, I put the king as dubious, not that. Sorry, not that. It's c4 that's dubious for white. He has 2 versus 3 majority on the queen side, or 3 versus 2 for white has 3, black has 2. So that's why it's like, huh? b6, knight d4, and now if we can get knight to b5, this pawn potentially could get picked up. Potentially. Let's see here. And then f5. Exclam here. Black can't save himself in the rook and pawn endgame. Like if bishop c5, rook takes, bishop takes check, king e7, rook d3 to hold, and he's not very he doesn't really like this setup. It's white still comes out a whole pawn up, so he's entered the endgame with a pawn up. Not very good, so that's why he plays f5, and he takes bishop c5, rook h3, king e6, and g4 to protect the knight, keep it outposted. e5 is trying to enter in to one of these two places. That gets an exclam mark. Black's not letting his pawn, losing one pawn or 2 pawns, get him down, because he knows that if he can get his king active, he has a good chance of drawing. So knight g8 or g7 is a good move. Exclam. King f6 was an idea, but if king f4, I know you're thinking, wasn't that a good plan? Yeah, but remember, now we have rook h5, which actually is a beautiful move because it's taking advantage of everything. Now the bishop will move, and then the rook will get to b5 and block this rook out of attack on b3. And even if he gets a pawn here, white's still a pawn up, so he's willing to give it back. So h3. That defeats my theory. What happens if he plays there? Oh, we're threatening mate, because if he plays here, that's mate. Snap. That's very sneaky. Very, very, very sneaky there. h5 check, king a5, and then rook takes another pawn. It's like now we're threatening to grab this bishop with a fork. Well, it should be able to convert this easily. I like that. That's such a wonderful example of if you get a little too greedy, what's going to happen. If you come in a little too tight, it's like a keto to the nth level. You welcome them in, so at the right moment you can make them wish they hadn't have entered. That happens sometimes. Your opponents will get a little too happy, and then it'll be like, you know what? They should have known. You should have known. c6 to hold this bishop, and rook to f5, and now this is like a beautiful move. I like that move. I don't know, it's just, it doesn't get an exclam, but it's just so powerful because now you're threatening h4, h5, and I don't know, it's just, that's just power. I just like it. This power move. It's just, you know, it's one of those things that you gotta love. Okay, so b6. Wow. Oops, did I? Oh, h4, that's right. See, we talked about that. And then rook to e6. This is a double question. I'll leave this up to you, and I want to ask you guys a question. Why do you think rook to e6 is a blunder? Give it your best go. I'm gonna leave it open to the chat, or to you if you YouTube watchers are watching this. I want you to give it your best shot. Stop it here and kind of take a look. Why is rook e6 a blunder? If you have to set up a board, do it, because this is a very critical move. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Okay, we're going to start into it now. It's actually rook g5. If you picked rook g5 check, you are on the right track to becoming a stellar player, in my opinion. That's a little bit hard to find, because I'll show you the combo that arises out of it here, and then knight g5. And this basically, sets up an Arabian Maid idea, because the rook guards here, here, and here, and actually, sorry, here, here, and here, and all you need is a check, and there it is. So that's why that was a mistake. So black could have tried holding on with this move here, f6. If you guys saw f6, what was the best move for black rather than this blunder? What was the best move for black? Congratulations. f6 is the move that keeps black in the ball game. Otherwise, it's all over. The rook would have to move. King d7 or f7. And rook d8 to hold this, hold the knight, and black still has a chance here, but he played, of course, you guys saw, knight to rook e6, blunder, because of knight rook g5, h6, and knight g7 with the threat of f5 mate. And what would have to happen is he would have to go down an exchange in that line. He doesn't even have time trying to win anything. That loses because of knight here. I know, we'll try a couple moves out. That loses to mate. That loses to mate. This loses to mate. That, I think we already did that one, didn't we? Yeah, we did that one. That loses to mate. And so you'd have to actually come down and give back material. Or he probably would play rook to f6 here. That's what would be played. Then check, rook takes, and now you're up a whole exchange and in a winning endgame. So you're winning either way. So best move would be rook f7, r6, and then you'd have to exchange it off. You might even be able to rook f6 there, take there, and then if he tries that, just play here, and you have the king sidelined. So you might not want to actually take with, and if he takes here, we're fine with that. The king's still offside. We just move our king up, and then we convert. We'll grab this pawn. This king isn't going anywhere. All he has is along here. He potentially could try to escape via that, but we would take. Let's say he tries that, right? We just play there. If he tries here, we can actually stop everything now. And the king isn't going anywhere. So you're still good to go. I just wanted to show you that. And that's actually what ended the game. So this is what the summary wrap up. On move 3, f4, c5 c5 for black. Your follow-up is pawn takes, the knight, the pawn takes c5. But the sitch is, which is interesting, black can actually equalize after takes. He should play e6 here, and then he's good to go. Okay, wanted to follow up with that, guys, and so now let's get we can do some puzzles. Alright, could play one more game, and then we'll go into puzzles then. Alright, let's do it. got this guy here. Let's see here. I have some time here, so I better think. So if takes he stops my majority. I believe it would be a draw here if we did that. Yeah, let's go for the draw. I want to see what potentially would be the best move here. I was concerned if he plays this though. I think he'd have to play there, and then we bring the king. We actually bring the king up if he plays here. So that loses our advantage. That holds there. So that's a draw. So that's a mistake then by the computer slightly. Let's see. Okay. I was thinking potentially that might have been better. There's no way to stop. Okay. That was a good game. We'll try it one more time. We'll do one more, then we'll get into our puzzles. Sometimes you have to go over why it was a draw. See how we're doing. think I would have blundered that, so blessed you didn't see that. So here is an interesting idea. It's trying to steamroll that setup there. That's one thing you gotta do is go for the KO if you can. Sometimes these players don't resign, so what you gotta do is just win. Excuse me about my throat. It's just a little croaky for some reason today. Oh, he backed out. Okay. We'll do some puzzles now. Okay, dokie. Let's see. Trying to see if potentially D4 isn't a good idea. D4. What do you guys think about D4? Because if he tries to move his king, right, we always can play D5, D6, and then just keep pushing the board. Okay. Let's see if our opponent, yeah, he's just got a timeout. Okay. Oops, gotta turn off the engine. Let's see here. Bishop F4. Okay, so the London. I've seen this move happen. Okay. Hold on. Oh. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Didn't want to lose on time, so finish that. I've seen this move before. This move is with c6. This locks down White's ability to go d7 to d5. It also is a kind of a shutting down move. So Black's counterplay is on. I'm glad that you got a draw, so I'm happy about that. But it shuts down the queenside expansion for Black for a while. C5 is an interesting move. I prefer that. If you're wanting a close game, you're going down the right track. I'm thinking though that potentially maybe bishop to d6. I know it's another move, but would that be a beneficial idea? And then if he plays there, you could actually drop your knight, and then if he ever gets a little too hasty, you then could play that, and this is really strong. Your bishop's implanted. There's nothing that could. I know this sounds like an insane move, but I've actually seen some players play g4 here. This is like a crazy berserker move here, g4. And then what was played, I noticed, was h5, and then we play h3, and we get, if he takes, we take, and he can't move here, and we've opened the h file. So that's what I looked at, this berserker. And then if he plays f5, right, you can actually do an in-between move. Let me see, I'm trying to remember what how it went. That is true, I agree with the economy, but more likely f5 would be playable here. I still like h3 in this line. He might play there, but if he does, then you pick up a pawn. So I like I like g4. So yeah, I'd agree with you. H5 is more likely the. So we don't want that move. Delete that. I like g4. Yeah. It just solidifies everything, and if his knight tries to come something like that, you can always just consider taking. And if he takes to open up like this, you always have the shutdown move of e3. Hey, I'm agreeing with you. Hey, that's why I called it the berserker move. You know, it is. You know what? There, Black's all in at that point, so you are right. You get yourself mated. So you never. That's why I'm saying, just get ready if they play h5. You never know that what your opponent's going to play. Exactly like Economy said, they end up in a certain line getting mated. So if you know that line, your right is rain for victory. So this would be a line that I would take scope on. Yep, that's correct. Black gets nothing and white gets everything. I agree with you on that. And now you have this massive chain. And then if he tries, we'll say something like queen to h4 to kind of double attack here and here. What you can always play is, let me see here, I'm trying to remember, you can even retreat your, nope, you don't want to retreat the bishop back. Probably knight to d2, maybe even a h3 might even be a good move here. I might just play h3. h3 might be a good move. Oh, my bad there. My bad. That does hang. So, wow. Black is in a problem here. Wow. What does Black play here? I guess you'd have to, at this point, just break out with f5. That would kind of have to be the idea. And then pawn takes, and then rook to g, and then he starts looking very soft. He has a soft underbelly of g7, so yeah, nice move. Nice. I like h4. Harry. He's our hero, going down the board to be a queen for us. Hikaru is I can't say. I want to name the H pawn Hikaru, but I just can't yet. It's just Harry's just he's our hero, man. We got to keep it Harry. We got to. Bishop G. Nice move. I like that move. Good work. Yeah, you're following the plan of getting rid of the dark squared, like what we talked about. This is huge. So rook knight f5, and bam. Takes. Yeah. You're a close game. I don't know. I hate to surrender this here, but I don't really want to open up the game. So I'm not too sure about that move. Nice. You took advantage of the d pawn. That's nice. And this knight is, d square. This knight is outposted forever unless this knight trades it off. So you're dominating. Nice. Even nicer. Castle queenside. Okay. And I could see why. Nice. I like that. That's a really, yeah, you're totally jumping all over the board. I agree, economy. He's going for the knockout, isn't he? Why it is. This is a really good move because if he tries to do that, he's gonna get himself checkmated. Kaboom. That gets a kaboom, not a boom. Kaboom is like stellar. Our excellent, as in tubular. You still have check. Yeah, that was. I know that was your mouse slip there. This is what you wanted right here. I know exactly where your mouse slip was. Then he plays up here, and you have check. You can actually, I think, check here. Huh. So there. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see here. Maybe just plain check here. And I believe that just picks up the queen. You could just do that. Let's see, is there any way to do a draw? I think there's a nope. Mate 7. That's what I was wondering. No. Yeah, you're still winning here. If he plays there. What I gotta ask you. When you took back, did you you had enough basically compensation to win? Yeah, this is totally still winning. I like your game here. If he tries to go here, and then you pick up, so I'm trying to figure out maybe something like that, but I still think you end up just destroying. Oh, my bad there. I did it again. Sometimes it's irritating. So he's not going to do that. So what could actually black do here? Basically, I guess just move the king. Yeah, I guess it would. I would probably do a draw too. But I think like what the computer's saying, you probably do have enough for a win, but you'd have to endure a lot. And sometimes after a player mouse slips, the one thing they want to do is just get a draw and move on to the next game. I know how that feels. It's not fun for a mouse click. Yep. Good game though. Well played, well played. That was a well played game. So maybe knight takes there. He might actually take there. And yep, you're winning now. Okay, I was just wondering about that. Great game, great game. Now, 777. Who'd have thunk, huh? I'm thinking here, D4. What do you guys think? D4. And if then the king moves, we can go D5, D3, D2, and then queens. What do you guys think about that? What you guys think? I'll let you guys think about this for a sec. I think that's the only move that, because then if the king, what I was thinking is if D4, oh wow, that was a blessing. The mouse clicked there incorrectly. Okay, so I better keep it over here. Okay, so D4 we know is right. Rook F 7, and I'm thinking Queen D5 to keep the pin and also prevent it keeps the pin. So that was my idea. Queen not F7, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got F7 from. Sorry, D4, Rook F8, that's my bad there. And then Queen D5. There we go. That's the right combo that I was thinking of. That's interesting. So what you're saying is here, there, 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 and there. When the king moves, we grab that. Huh, interesting. Wow. That does do a lot, doesn't it? So what do you think, economy? D4, D3? I'm starting to like D3 more and more now. Because it also shuts out that. If we play D3 here, it shuts here out. So if the king tries to run, we can actually just go check, and then we keep the pawn pushing down the board. What do you think? Yeah. I'm thinking G4 here. G4 and this line. That's okay. We'll do another one. It happens, so you know what? Don't worry. It's okay. You know what? We're getting there. You know what? You're more than happy to help, so don't worry. Let's see here. Ooh. Let's see if we play bishop takes. Bishop takes. I mean, not bishop. King takes. Check. Hey, how you doing? Gaming. Good. You can't have a bad day. when you're doing chess. That's for sure. We're trying to figure out this formation. If, oops, don't do that. Come on, remember that. I had a similar game happen when so I played. This is what I played: King takes King takes H7. Then yeah. Oh, that's true. That's good. Just stay safe. That's what matters. And then knight G5 check, and king to G6 is the move. Yeah, because the idea is this. I'll show you Fox why. Here, if the queen comes here, you play this sweet little attacking move. I forgot to add this. Sorry about that, guys. I'll add the rest of it. I just wanted to get it in there for you guys. Queen G4, and then you have a sweet F5 move. That's the sweet move, and then you've won a piece in that line. So I'm gonna go with takes for sure. And then am I missing? Am I missing F6 though? I don't think so, because then he has bishop to. If we go H6, he has bishop F5 or F4. We don't want that. True. That's something to look at for sure. So here and there. Then if we take, I could actually play bishop check. Wow, we are close to mate, aren't we? I think king H7, G5, king H8. That loses to mate, I believe. Huh. I don't. I think we still get checkmated though. Huh. Boy, I'm trying to see if we don't go back to G8, because there's really no way we can actually stop If we go G8 right now, King G8 like Fox is King G8 like Fox is saying, and he goes Queen to H5. We have Knight F6, and that covers it. Yeah. We go here, 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 and then Knight F6, which covers the checkpointing square, and then this rook covers H7. So I believe it has to be back. Otherwise, the idea that Fox proposed again, H5. If we went King G6, H5 would lead to mate in probably like 5. So I'm thinking that King to, oops, hold on, let me do this. King H8, not H8, sorry. I did that too, Fox. King G8, that's what I mean. G8. If you guys have an idea, you guys try to put the whole line in and work it out, because that's how you get better, by working out these problems. You may only do like 4 or 5 a day maybe, but if you like Maurice Ashley talked about this, if you really hone down on puzzles and you look at them, you analyze almost all the move lines that could be in it, if they're pretty hard puzzles, of course. If you see all those lines, it's like he says you've gone over a game. But yeah, that is true. You're right. If we go King G6, but the problem is H5 check, which is the devastating move here. You have there, and then if we try to go back here, he has bishop to F4, and we're kind of almost toast in that line, close to being toasted. Yeah, you're in a big pickle. If that, I kind of see now why this move here is King to G8 is the only move that saves the game, because he doesn't have this little bitty sneaky H5 move anymore. Because if he tries H5, we get him. There's no check on this. If we were here, there'd be a check and we couldn't capture this knight. But now that we play King to G8, we're now threatening to take, and potentially we have, if the queen thinks about sliding in after here, the queen thinks about sliding in, saying, I'm coming in here, you have knight to F6, and you hold everything. The queen's under fire, she has to move, and we're good to go. It's just, no, I gotta tell you, it looked tempting to play G6, but it's a good thing we worked this out, because it would have actually been wrong. So this is the only move. The reason this, we'll go over why, if he plays here, let's say we play there, right? He's got, oh, he could play, oh, it's actually good for, oh, you could just move over. Okay, so, oh, so queen check. What are we missing here? Oh, okay. Oh, wow. And it's a draw. And so back here, if we tried here and they brought his queen in, we just bring the knight there, and we're totally mopping up everything at that point. We're good to go. We've picked up a whole piece, and we have domination. We'll do one more, then I gotta log off. One more. One more. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Let me see. You have two moves here that you have to look at. Oh, you want to see what the line is? Okay. Boom. Okay, what would happen? Okay, Queen H. Queen F3. And then bishop to D6. Bishop takes D6, and then queen takes. And you're better here. Good find there. That's perfect. So now we got two moves that we have to look at. We have here, and then we got there. We got these two moves to look at. Those are your candidate moves. King to E8, our knight to E6. In that case, if we're talking about that, then probably king to E8 is a good move. But the only sitch is we really can't take the knight. We really can't. The rook, in theory, isn't really under attack. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe moving the king. See, if we go, my idea is if we go king to e8. He's got queen b4, and then I was thinking about grabbing the pawn, and now the queen's under fire. The other line doesn't really do anything here. It's pinned, and this attack, he just moves his queen and he's safe. It's blurry. Hold on, let me see real quick. It's really quick. Let's do a quick look. We'll do puzzles while we're waiting for it to upload. Okay, let's take a look. Nope, it looks good. Looks good, no blurry. Boom. Okay. Will you guys have any other lines you want to look at before I log? Oh, so only move the queen has is either it's there. Okay, there. And then more likely it's a check. Okay. 9. Okay. I believe that's the number. So you guys all good? You guys need any you have any other move sequence you want to look at? Anything, Fox? Okay, good. Okay, guys, remember, You're not always going to have a 100% day, but it's what you do when you don't have a 100%. Do you take it back, learn from it, like we did that one chess problem, and then we got better? Do like what Maurice Ashley says. Take maybe 5 really hard problems, work through them, or maybe start out with just 2 if they're super duper hard, and try to find all the lines of your side and your opponent's side. And then if you, when you're able to do that, like within 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even faster, you can move to maybe 3, then 4, then 5, and eventually you'll be doing probably 30 or more a day, and you'll see an improvement in your play, and you'll go beyond your plateau. Remember, there are no limits. There's plateaus. There are plateaus. We do reach those plateaus. Fabi's a good example of it, but guess what? He made the effort and went past it. He had a spree of not doing too good one time, and now he's on a rhythm and a roll. Okay, you have to make that next jump, and you know what? That to become a world champion, you have to do that. And then at that point, you must not stay there like what we talked about to be a world champion. You must go beyond it, and I know you guys can go beyond it. You know what? You can know a lot of information, but unless you apply it to your life, to chess, to stuff, you're not going to ever you're not going to be able to funnel that for the better. And willing is not enough. You must apply. You could be willing. Willing is not enough. You must do, not apply. So yeah, you could be willing to do something, but unless you take the first step of knowing and applying, you can be willing to do a lot of stuff. It's kind of like what Bruce Lee said. There's 2 steps. I know why they're in that order. And so I just want to leave you guys with that. Also, in the East Coast of the United States, there's a lot of flooding and bad stuff happening down there. So could you keep them in your thoughts and prayers, guys? Because they need a lot of prayers and thoughts. Okay, I'll leave you guys with that. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. And I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And Lord willing, guys, I'll be back on tomorrow. And we're getting so close to being done with Play the London system. Then we'll go into the French and some endgames. That will be fun. Okay, have a blessed night. Remember, go Team Chess Cruncher and keep pushing forward. Don't stop. Don't settle. Okay, be blessed, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.